What's going on, guys? My name is Noah, and today I just want to talk about my experience with depersonalization, derealization, what it felt like, what it was like, and what I have done to recover from depersonalization 90%. I'm not going to be one of those people on here that tells you that I have it completely 100% beat. That'd be bullshit on my part, and I don't want to mislead anybody. But I would say I'm 90% recovered from depersonalization, derealization. I have suffered with it for over 2 years. Don't get freaked out by that fact for all the people that are just new in it. I have been living a life that's not more burdened by it than it was before for quite some time. But let's just get down to where it started. So I'm going to try to be useful this time, not ramble. Let's see where I can start. In May of 2011, I had a full-blown mental breakdown. My mental breakdown was started when I took a Vivitrol injection. It is not important what that is, but all you need to know is that with this injection, there laid a really rare possible side effect of basically suicidal depression. And I didn't know about that going into it. It was supposed to help me stay sober. Again, you can look into it if you want, because I am a recovering alcoholic. But I took the shot and I had a full-scale mental breakdown. A lot of people that suffer from depersonalization, derealization, a lot of them, they had a triggering point. For some people, it's a medication. It can be blood pressure medication, antidepressants. You know, they're called, what do they call those when you have paradoxical reactions to these things? Weed, big one right there. A lot of people smoke weed, have a panic attack, and they get stuck in this derealized, depersonalized state. So I went from being, well, I, like anyone, had issues, but I went from being completely functional, never suicidal, never depersonalized, to full-blown, clinically depressed, anxious, and for the purpose of this video, horrible depersonalization, derealization. Now, I didn't know what it was when I had it. I didn't know what was going on, but I thought that I was absolutely losing my mind. The one thing I can say that would try to make you understand what it felt like to be severely depersonalized and derealized is that the world around me suddenly did not feel like real. And you know that feeling when you binge out on caffeine or stimulants and you've been up for one too many days, or you pull an all-nighter and then you had to go to work the next day for whatever reason, but you know that feeling when you're so strung out on caffeine but you can't crash yet, and that it's just like this blah, detached, hungover, weird feeling? It's like a version of that, but significantly worse and with no end in sight. I remember when I was in the beginning of my depersonalization, derealization, I remember looking around me and thinking that I am in a fucking movie. I mean, I would look at my hand and I would swear that it wasn't my own hand. Now, this is not going to make sense to a lot of people, but for anyone who suffered these symptoms of depersonalization, derealization, that detachment, that utter fucking numbness that comes over you when you feel that way, you know what I'm talking about. You know how completely frightening it is. And if you were anything like me, you thought you were losing your mind. I thought I was completely, actually going crazy. I thought it was the first step towards the end of my life because I'd gone off the deep end. And these symptoms of depersonalization were always coupled with severe anxiety. And I remember I could be overstimulated so easy, and I couldn't feel anything. I just felt so numb and detached and weird and scared. I would do extreme things like turn on the cold water, ice cold water in the shower, and I would just sit under that water trying to snap out of it, trying to come out of it, and days would go by and weeks would go by and months would go by, and it only seemed to be getting worse. And when I would go outside, the sheer magnitude of energy that was coming from the open space, I honestly felt psychotic and alone and hopeless and suicidal and beyond scared. I ended up watching a movie that really perfectly describes how I felt. It's called Numb. Matthew Perry is the main actor in this movie. I'm not sure who the director is, but you should look it up. The movie is completely dedicated to a man who suffers from severe depersonalization based on smoking weed and having a panic attack. It's fucked up, and Anyway, my heart goes out to anyone right now who's having a rough time with it. So I was in the shit of it, coupled with depression and anxiety, but the depersonalization was, I felt like it was the scariest part of my condition because I didn't ever, it was unimaginable what I was feeling like, and since I'd never experienced it, and I'd never heard of anyone experiencing something like this surreal, I am experiencing my life through a giant glass wall feeling. I thought I was alone. I thought I was the only person in the world, and I thought there was no cure. And I didn't even have a name for it for the longest time. But I finally did come up with a name. It gave me some relief. And then I also found out that there's tons and tons of people that suffer from depersonalization, derealization. And you will find that the people that suffer this, they are some passionate motherfuckers because they're scared, they're desperate, and a lot of them fear for their life. So they talk about it, they speak up about it. And it's important to know that there's a lot of us, and you're going to be okay. Most people just need to hear that. And I didn't believe I was going to be okay for 1 second, so it's all good if you hear me and you're like, this guy doesn't fucking know what I'm going through. He's not in my body. I'm not. I don't. But I have been down to a place I didn't think was humanly possible, and I have lived to tell the tale. I've been restrained. I've been hospitalized. I've been through every treatment and medication over the last couple of years you can think of. I know dark places of my own, and I was the person saying fuck you to anyone who said you're gonna be just fine. I was like, you don't know that. You don't know what I'm going through. You don't know what this detached, numb, weird feeling is. I'm dead, man. You know, that's how I felt. For anyone who suffered these symptoms of depersonalization, derealization, that detachment, that utter fucking numbness that comes over you when you feel that way, you know what I'm talking about. You know how completely frightening it is. And if you were anything like me, you thought you were losing your mind.